Cells make up all living things. They are important to our life. However, there may be certain reasons why a cell needs to reproduce, such as the need to make its multicellular organism grow or to replace dead or worn-out cells. Here is how a diploid cell, which is a cell that has pairs of similar chromosomes, splits and reproduces. This process is also called mitosis. Interphase is the longest part of the cell cycle, which is the stage cells are in for most of their life. In this phase, the cell performs the majority of its purposes, including preparing the cell for mitosis. The genetic material will appear as uncoiled DNA or chromatin. Prophase is the first step of mitosis. During prophase, the chromatids are fully visible under a microscope. The centrioles appear and move to opposite sides of the cell, while the spindle fibers start to come out. During anaphase, the next step in mitosis, the chromatids separate and begin to move to opposite ends of the cell. During metaphase, the second phase of mitosis, you will see the chromatid pairs lining up in the center of the cell and the chromatids attached to the spindle fibers. Telophase is the final step of mitosis in which the cytoplasm is pinched in but not completely split and as two new nuclei form in the cell. Cytokinesis is the last step of the cell cycle. It is not part of mitosis. In cytokinesis, the cytoplasm of the parent cell divides and two new daughter cells are formed. There is also a process called meiosis, which is used to produce sex cells. These cells are haploid, which means that the cell has half the number of chromosomes than regular body cells. Meiosis is similar to mitosis, except that meiosis goes through each phase twice and ultimately ends up with half the number of chromosomes as a regular cell. Meiosis 1 is almost exactly the same as mitosis. During prophase, the nuclear membrane breaks down, spindle fibers begin to appear, and the sister chromatids are visible. Also, crossing over, a process to exchange genetic information that does not happen in mitosis, occurs. During metaphase 1, the chromatids line up at the center of the cell and the spindle fibers attach to their centromeres. In anaphase 1, the spindle fibers retract and pull the chromatids to the opposite ends of the cell. During telophase, the cytoplasm divides and two daughter cells form. Each cell has the original number of chromosomes at this point. During prophase 2, the duplicated chromosomes and spindle fibers reappear in each new cell. In metaphase 2, the duplicated chromosomes move to the center of the cell. In anaphase 2, the centromere divides and the chromatids separate and move to opposite ends of the cell. In telophase 2, the spindle fibers disappear and a nuclear membrane surrounds the chromosomes at the ends of the cell. The cytoplasm divides and 4 cells are created, each with only half the number of chromosomes it started with.
Say
The cell could have too little or too many chromosomes. This would happen if the sister chromatids did not line up correctly during metaphase 1. This will result in uneven amounts of chromatids being pulled to each side. Resulting in each cell having varying amounts of chromosomes. The cell will continue this process with the incorrect chromosome counts. When these sex cells come together to create a zygote, the zygote can die, and if it lives, each cell in the organism will have an incorrect number of chromosomes and it may not grow properly. There is also a process called meiosis, which is used to produce sex cells. These cells are haploid, which means that the cell has half the number of chromosomes than regular body cells. Meiosis is similar to mitosis, except that meiosis goes through each phase twice and ultimately ends up with half the number of chromosomes as a regular cell. Cancer occurs when a cell divides much faster and rapidly than it usually should. Cells usually have an indicator to inform them to stop dividing when there are enough. Cancer cells ignore this warning and continue to multiply anyway. And thus cancer is born.
Scientists have come up with